Hey guys, in today's video I want to show you the different toss locations that you can choose when hitting a flat serve, a slice serve, and a kick serve. And I'm of course going to tell you which toss locations to avoid. But before we get started, I want to clarify one thing that a lot of recreational players get wrong, and they refer to throwing the ball behind to what body position that they're in when they're serving. The unfortunate thing about that is that the body position will change throughout the service motion, so that is not an accurate way to measure when you're throwing the ball behind you. So let me give you an example. So behind my body would obviously be towards the left here. Now, depending on what serve I'm hitting, my body position will change. I might be coiling, and I'm also going to be rotating, so that is not a good way to describe what behind the body means. When we're talking about the serve, the contact is the most important thing. And if the ball ends up being behind the body at contact, that is a catastrophe for the serve. You're going to have a very difficult time getting the serve in. So what I refer to as behind is behind the baseline. That is the most simple way to describe a toss that's going behind. So you take the baseline, and if the ball is landing behind the baseline, that is behind. If the ball is landing in front of the baseline, that is in front. And then if the ball is going towards the right, that is going to be the right side. And then obviously if the ball is going towards the left, that is going to be the left. So I'm using the court as a reference to where my toss is going, and I'm not using my body to do so. All right guys, so regardless of what serve that you're choosing to hit, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that you should never do on your serve toss. And thankfully this court is multicolored, and the red happens to be behind the baseline. So on this court, I'm always going to avoid throwing the ball into the red, even on my kick serve, because here's what's going to happen in the context of how we're going to load the serve. So ideally, we want to be leaning forward on all serves, even the kick serve. So what will naturally happen if you throw the ball into the red and you lean forward, this is going to guarantee that you make contact far behind your head. And what will happen if you make contact behind your head, you're going to be losing a lot of power. This can actually hurt your shoulder because you're going to be forced to drag through the contact, and this is a very weak position to be in. You will not only lose power and strength, but also the trajectory of the ball is not going to work out for you. You're going to be missing a lot of balls long. So by all costs, you must avoid throwing the ball behind the baseline on all serves. Now here's another thing you should avoid, and that is throwing the ball too far in front, because the trajectory is not going to work out for you. We'll be forced to reach forward, and now a lot of players do. When they throw the ball too far in front, they're forced to open their racket face to get that ball over the net. So you should definitely not throw the ball too far in front. And I set down these 4 balls to show you where exactly to throw the ball depending on what serve you're choosing. So if you happen to choose to hit a kick serve, you want to basically lay 4 balls down, and the first 2 balls is going to be this zone that you want to aim for on your kick serve. So you don't want to be behind the baseline even on the kick. You want to be in front because you still want to be leaning slightly forward. You're going to want to get that forward momentum, but you also don't want to be too far in front, because what's going to happen biomechanically on a kick serve is that the contact is going to be further behind compared to the flat and the slice serve. The contact is going to be right above our head, and our toss must match that contact, and we therefore need to throw it a little bit further behind than we would on a flat and a slice serve. So where you should aim for on a kick serve is the first 2 balls. So let me demonstrate. I'm going to hit a kick serve, and I'm going to throw it in front, but just slightly. And actually there I felt like I threw it a little bit too far in front. So what will happen on a kick serve, if you throw the ball too far in front and you're not making contact in front of your head, this will make the height of your kick serve a lot less. So the more behind you make contact on your kick serve, the more you get your body underneath the ball, the more height you will get on the other side. So let me try it again. I'm going to adjust my toss and get it a little bit closer to the baseline, but yet throw it inside the court. So that felt a lot better. I felt like that contact with the ball was a little bit closer to this zone that I was aiming for, and I was able to get more height on my kicker. Now on my flat serve and my slice serve, on the other hand, I'm going to be throwing the ball a lot further in front, because what's going to happen on a flat and a slice serve is a contact that's occurring in front of our head. So the toss must match that contact point. So when it comes to my flat and my slice, I'm going to not be afraid to throw the ball further inside. Of course, I'm going to lean in, because if you throw the ball in front and you don't lean in, you end up with a jackknife serve. This is something you definitely don't want. So anytime you're throwing the ball in front, you also want to be able to lean in. So now I'm attempting to get those first two balls as my toss location. So that serve right there was definitely too far in front. And I can feel a little bit of a loss of power there. So I'm going to try another one. And I'm feeling a slight reach when I serve that serve. So I know just by feel that it was a little bit too far in front. Because let's face it, we don't have the pinpoint accuracy that you think we might have at the high level. We don't exactly know where the toss was. We go by feel, so that's why I go by zones. I'm not going to be able to pinpoint my toss. I'm not going to be able to exactly know where it was, so I'll go by zones. This is going to be a zone for the flat and the slice, and this is going to be the zone for the kick. So let me try it one more time. I'm going to adjust my toss to be in front, but a little bit less than the last serve. That was actually still too far in front. And one interesting thing that happens when you throw the ball too far in front, and today is a little bit of a windy day, I got the wind behind me. Not the best day to do a toss video, but in any case, what will happen when you throw the ball too far in front is that naturally, in order to get the ball over the net, the racket angle will change slightly. You're going to open the racket face a little bit. And so the common cause of error when the ball goes long is actually throwing the ball too far in front. Most people would think that you would start dumping balls into the net when you throw it too far in front, which is definitely something that will happen from time to time. But also players have a tendency to miss long when they throw the ball too far in front as well. So let me try it again. Let me try to adjust this toss and go in that first zone where the first two balls are. This is going to be perfect toss location for my flat serve. That was a really good serve. I felt like that was an ace. I served it right down the tee. Power level was good. I felt like that was right on the money. So let me try one more. This time it's going to be a slice serve. Okay, I missed that at the top of the net, but it actually felt pretty good. One thing that I want to advise you is that there's going to be a big difference between doing a dry toss, where you're not actually attempting to hit the ball, versus doing a toss with a real serve. So a lot of recreational players will have no problem just standing there and throwing the ball up like this. I, on one hand, have more of a problem doing it dry than doing it in a real serve. My serve toss is a lot more consistent when I do it in conjunction with the rest of my body. But a lot of players will be the opposite. They have no problem standing there, throwing the ball in the exact location, but as soon as they start doing the full service motion, they start rocking back and forth, they start sinking the non-dominant arm with the dominant arm, the toss goes out the window. Okay guys, let's talk about the clock. So the way the clock is going to work on the serve is going to be lined up with your left shoulder if you happen to be right-handed. That's where we're going to have 12 o'clock, right where that left shoulder is. And let's start with the flat serve, where you should attempt to throw the ball on your flat serve is between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. This is going to be an adequate toss position for your flat serve. What you should avoid is throwing the ball at 11 o'clock. That's going to be too far away. Now remember what needs to happen at the moment of contact on a flat serve. You need to have a position of the racket face that is more vertical. So the more you throw the ball to the left, the more angle you'll get on your racket face. Now it's not impossible to hit a flat serve like this, but it's definitely something that will take power away from your flat serve, and it's going to make it more difficult to get extension as well. The easiest thing to do on the flat and the slice is to throw it between 12 and 1 o'clock, which will give you the best chance to have that full extension and a more vertical position of the racket face at contact. Now when we're talking about the slice serve, this is where it's going to get a little bit more complex, and I want you to really pay attention. So one drill that I do with a lot of my lower level students, when we're talking about intermediate level players, is I have them throw the ball at 2 o'clock, which will turn into a guaranteed or automatic slice serve. And the reason for that is if I throw the ball at 2 o'clock, now my racket is traveling towards the ball, and it's going to continue traveling laterally after contact naturally, because I'm going towards the ball that's at 2, and I'm naturally going to continue going that way, which creates slice on the serve. And this is an adequate way of doing it at the intermediate level, maybe even at the advanced level. However, there will be a loss of power on your slice when you do so. This is the case for any serve. The more we hit the ball away from our core, the more power we lose. So what I recommend is that you learn to hit your slice serve at 12 o'clock if you happen to be at the advanced level. The advantage you will get from hitting a slice serve at 12 is that now you will have more range of motion. When you make contact at 12 o'clock, there's more room for the racket to go laterally across the ball. When you make contact at 2 o'clock, the arm is already extended. There's not that much room to continue going that way. On the other hand, when you make contact at 12, there's a lot of space there to accelerate the racket laterally after the moment of contact. So another reason why you should learn to hit your slice serve at 12 is disguise, because if you always are throwing the ball further to the right, if you happen to be right-handed when you're slicing, this is going to be super easy to read by your opponent. And if you throw it at 12, actually you can do your flat serve from 12, your kick serve from 12, and your slice serve from 12 o'clock. This is going to be a great disguise, and your opponent will not be able to pick up when you attempt to hit a slice serve. Now when it comes to your kick serve, you will not be able to get any kick on your serve if you throw the ball at 1 o'clock or even further at 2 o'clock, simply because the angle of the racket face is going to be too vertical, and the way we create kick or spin on the serve is by having a more angled position of the racket face and going laterally across the ball this way. That creates topspin or kick on the serve. So unfortunately, when you throw the ball at 1, now the racket will naturally be more vertical and you will not get topspin, you will get slice on your serve. So what needs to happen on your kick toss location, you will need to have a toss that's at least at 12 o'clock, or even better, you actually slide it towards 11:30 or 11 o'clock. Of course, the more left you go on your toss, the more you will have to bend your body backwards, and a lot of players, especially at the recreational level, have range of motion limitations. So in that case, it makes a lot more sense to keep that toss at 12 o'clock. But in any case, the toss on the kick serve needs to be at least at 12 o'clock, and if you're flexible enough, you can slide it even further towards the left and keep it between 11 and 11:30. Now some of you guys might ask, Nick, what do you do on your serve? Well, I have a little bit of a problem with my toss going towards the right on my flat and my slice serve. I do a pretty good job throwing the ball to my left on my kick. And what happens on the serve if you throw the ball too far to the right is going to be an inability to bend the body backwards. So naturally, when you throw the ball towards the right, and I'm going to demonstrate here, is that your body will naturally be more straight up. What happens very frequently on a WTA tour, when the ball is to the right, the body will not bend backwards. It makes absolutely no sense. So what I'm trying to do on my serve, since I'm becoming less athletic with my age, I'm trying to get a little bit more power from my body because my arm speed is deteriorating. So what I'm trying to do is get all my tosses at 12 o'clock, which gives me a better chance to bend backwards and use some of my core muscles to help me get power. You can see there, on a windy day, I actually missed that serve, so let me try one more. I'm going to throw it right at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to blast this one. Oh man, that wind is really blowing the ball. Let me try one more. I actually dropped too low and it took it too far to the left. That actually was too far to the right. Let me try one more. I'm going to get this toss right at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to try to bend my body backwards. Okay, that's pretty decent serve. Let me try one more. So guys, there you have it. Those are the toss locations on the serve. I want to stress that depending on what your level is, if you're a beginner or even an intermediate player, you might be, for example, doing a stationary kick serve. In that case, it makes absolutely no sense to lean forward. You're going to be just standing there throwing the ball up. In that case, you can actually throw the ball a little bit behind the baseline. And also, if you're just learning the slice serve, it's fine to throw it over there at 2 o'clock if you happen to be right-handed. For the advanced level, I highly recommend that you try to do the Saber's way, which is hit all serves at 12 o'clock. Okay guys, so let me demonstrate what I mean by the Saber's way. I'm going to hit 3 different serves all at 12 o'clock. So let me start off with a slice down the tee. I'm going to throw this thing at 12. Okay, I didn't get too much slice on there, but it was a good attempt anyway. Now let's go flat, out wide. I'm going to again attempt to throw it at 12. Okay, that was an ace. And let me try a kick serve. And I'm going to again throw it at 12, but I'm going to adjust a little bit how much forward I throw it. There's the kicker. So guys, there you have it. If you're at the advanced level, it's a big advantage to try to make all your serves at 12 o'clock.